Pulse music. Chill.
Hey family, what's good? Y'all already know who it is. It is your boy Theziz, man. We back in the building once again, and TLR, man, it's exciting. Episode 2, man. So this one right here, we're going to dive into one of the VSTs that I use the most, which is Kontakt. We're going to dig in it through a little bit and go through some of the features, a lot of the areas where you might want to find out how to use certain things to help enhance your music. It's basically Kontakt, Native Instruments Kontakt, and it's an awesome thing to have because you can use multiple variety of things with it. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get into it. Let me just make a new project here first. And yeah, I'm actually excited because the first episode, man, I think did really good. So we're just going to continue to keep this thing going. Again, I'm using Cubase. And we're just going to open up maybe 3 of the Kontakt, and we'll just add various sounds as we go along. So first, let's open up Kontakt and let's just go through the actual, what the VST looks like. So right here, here's the VST. Right here, you have the browse. You can actually close that out, and the browser is basically this area that's right here. So it shows you exactly what's in your folder. If you have libraries, your actual databases for your instruments, your banks, your groups, your samples, your presets. You can actually monitor some of your instruments for your editing, your modules, all types of good little tricks and stuff here. On this area right here is where you can control the master volume for the editor, where you got your beats per minute, your metronome, your tuner, to master tune the actual tone, the tonality of the actual sample that you're using. And this area right here is the multi-rack area. You can actually add multiple things. So for instance, if you want to have a clap and a snare, you can go in your little list of where your samples are, and just for example's sake, so we got 2 areas right here. Now you see that this area is playing and it's doing multiple things actually. So last episode I showed you how to go in and take off the sample loop. So you open up the wave editor and click this little button right here, and if you actually see right at the bottom right there where the information is, it tells you that the activated sample loop, it switches on and off for all the samples. So you want it to be off so that you can just get one sample sound, right? So you close this out. Now this area right here, A1 is the actual area of the host. So the host is basically whatever channel that you have preset to it. Right now we have it's going to be a default of A1. So in order to have both sounds come at the same time, you want to have both of them say A1, right? And also we forgot to go back and take off this sample too. So now you got 2 sounds doing the same thing at one time. If you ever want to mute out the sound, here's your solo and your mute buttons right here. You got your clap and 2 different claps, right? Now for this one, you can also change your volumes and change the decibels of how loud you want it. Now because this one right here was already kind of loud, well, both of them are loud now, but so now that's a nice even clap. The next thing I do usually when I'm playing around with the sampler is that you want to make the sound your own. Of course, this is a stock sample, so you want to play around with some of the tune, which are these areas right here. And then of course you can play around with some of the octaves on it, like so. And then you have an actual, once you tune it here, you can actually go to the master tuner, which has a default of 440, and then from there you can go left or right. Right makes it go higher right makes it go higher, and then the left makes it go with a lower tone to it. So you can do a lot of different things, man, with playing with this. So Down here is the actual pitch mod. You can go and adjust your pitches and your modulations. Right now I have it set on the tone of C across the board. That's usually, you know, like the standard basic that they come with it. If you don't want the keyboard, you can go back up to this top section in your sample bank in Kontakt and then just mute it out if you don't need that. That way you have a clear, free, you know, area where you can just put as many samples as you want and have it go through like that. Also in the top area you have an output section. So this is the X section where you can go add your channels, you can delete channels, put inserts, and edit effects through the auxiliaries, which are really, really cool. I personally don't use this section only because I go and, you know, kind of put them all within here in Cubase. And also I need to go and just do this real quick. If you remember my last episode, you'll actually see where I use the T-Racks, and before I start anything I always come over and, you know, do my major presets so it'll be a nice sound. So because this area right here always starts off, it always starts off for some odd reason really high, and it starts off with a clip. So I just go in and do that first before I do anything. So I forgot to do that, my apologies. But that's one, you know, we just gonna play around. And because we open up multiple ones, we're gonna try something different. I think we like that. All right. And because of this feature right here, where you change the decibels up and down, you just gotta monitor it, you know. And because I added that mastering effect on the end of the bus for the mastering fader, you just gotta monitor it, because sometimes it depends on how you use your mixing, or how you mix before you actually, you know, start producing. For me personally, that's why I always put it at the end, because then it'll give me a clear sound. So as I'm doing my production, you know, I don't have to do too much of a tweak to it, but it all depends on your preference of how you do things. So let's see. So say for instance, I know a lot of people have certain, you know, things that they like to import, or certain libraries. You can actually make a library for whatever you want to do. Say for instance, if you have certain sounds like this one right here, this is an actual, not this one, I'm sorry. This one right here was a kit that I downloaded, and what I did was I went online, I downloaded this little picture, and it's called a Kontakt library maker. So I'll put the link inside on this episode so that you guys can download, play around with it. I advise that if you haven't got Kontakt yet, that you go ahead and get Kontakt. It's an awesome sampler, and it's an awesome VST to have. It's very versatile, very user friendly. You can do a lot of things in it, but mainly and mostly it's best used for samples that you might have, and if you want to do multiple stacks of samples. Now, the only thing that I wish that it could do in this version is that it would allow, and I might, you know, maybe you guys can tell me, those who use Kontakt, maybe it's something I'm missing. I know that I think in the outputs that you can like route out the different sounds to like the mixes, so the sound is individual. That's just one thing I haven't tackled yet. So for those who might know how to do it, hit that comment down there, and we can actually bring it up so people will know how to do it. But as for right now, that's why I use multiple Kontakts. So here we have something real simple. It's just a standard drum Vox with a sample, right? So as you can see here, this is a Kontakt, this is Easy Drummer, this is Kontakt, 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 and so forth and so on. So this is a perfect example of, you know, just having a whole song with, you know, it's just one other VST. I didn't really have to use, it's just I wanted to use, I guess for this specific one, the percussion. But as you can see, you know, you can use Kontakt for every track if you want to. So let's just see how this sounds. Okay. With the wave editor, you have, again, you know, the sample loop that switches it on and off. You have the sync and the slice where you can actually use the beat machine type era where you can chop it up into little bite size. See what I'm saying? So you can chop it up like that. You can stretch the actual lengths of the zone. You can add a fader to it, and you can actually put zone envelopes. And then in this edit, I don't have the sample editor, but with the sample loop, it's really cool, man. Let's turn that off though. But so you know, it's just different things within the actual wave editor that you can do, man. They also have a mapping editor, so you can go and map the actual zones from the root, which is, it starts off with C3, and you know, you can just move around the roots that you want to move around. Like, it's really, really user friendly. Again, if it's something that you've never done before, you can do like me. I just looked up a lot of this stuff, and you know, just kind of went off of, you know, some YouTube stuff and played around with some of the areas where I didn't know things, and just developed my knowledge on things like that. As you can see here, within this one, it has a sampler, it has a presets for your modules. You can add effects inside of your groups. You can change some of your presets and your send and insert effects. And it actually does a modulation too. So say for instance, if I'm playing, let's get it playing first. Alright, if I got it playing and I want to add an effect, I can go and add an effect like this, and it automatically has a lot of like low pass filters, high pass filters, band pass filters, multi-effect filters. It's really cool, man, to use some of this stuff already inside the sampler before you even actually go to your mixer. So as you can see, it has the cutoff. See what I'm saying? So that's kind of a cool thing. And then you can actually record it like that. For the libraries, if you purchase the libraries, they'll just pop up here like I said before. So again, if you guys want to have any more info on Kontakt, let me know. And we're just going to keep it going, man. So this was just the intro into the use of Kontakt. Next episode, we're going to dig into a little bit more features as far as how to manipulate some of the sound and how to actually import your sound into Kontakt to play around with it, things like that. So until then, y'all already know who it is, man. Keep producing. We out.